This winter is shaping up to be one of the most intense in recent memory, with powerful storms and extreme weather events making headlines across the nation. The eastern United States, in particular, is bracing for a relentless onslaught of snow and storms, creating a landscape both stunning and dangerous. Heavy snowfall, biting winds, and rapidly changing conditions have already begun to affect many regions, with forecasts suggesting that this pattern is far from over. Major cities from Boston to Atlanta could see disruptions, from widespread power outages to hazardous travel conditions. We have some dramatic changes with this winter storm to discuss. As I forecasted earlier, across the Southeast, from Alabama through Georgia and the Carolinas, we're now expecting a lighter amount of snow. Thanks to high resolution models, we have better information about what's happening. I also have some new updates for the South Central region. Let's start with the Southeast. I'll show you the latest snowfall and freezing rain data. Keep in mind, this could change dramatically. Also, remember, the link to the portal is in the description, so you can zoom in on your area and see the official National Weather Service forecast. The models show a reduction in precipitation for Georgia. While there's still a strip of about 2 inches of snow, which is significant for the South, areas along Georgia and the Carolinas may see less than an inch, potentially transitioning to a mix of snow and freezing rain. For the South Central region, snowfall amounts have widened a bit. Northern Houston and areas across Beaumont, Lake Charles, and Lafayette could see about 4 inches, while Baton Rouge and areas north of New Orleans could expect 2 to 3 inches. Freezing rain and mixed precipitation are likely to reduce snowfall totals in these areas. High resolution rapid refresh HRRR models show that snowfall in the Northeast is aligning with National Weather Service projections. From now until noon on Tuesday, the Northeast could see an additional 3 to 5 inches of snow, with higher elevations in West Virginia, eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, and parts of New York City receiving 6 to 8 inches. In New England's higher elevations in Maine, totals could range from 6 to 9 inches or more. Back to the south, southeastern Texas and western Louisiana are still forecasted to get significant snowfall, potentially 6 to 8 inches, with some areas seeing even more. However, the models are also showing warm air intrusion, which could lead to more sleet and freezing rain instead of snow. For instance, the N3K model, though it sometimes exaggerates like the GFS, provides insight into future precipitation. It indicates much of the snowfall may diminish as the warm air moves in by Tuesday afternoon. Areas in southern Mississippi and Alabama may experience a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, which could lower overall accumulation. Dry air accompanying the cold front is another factor. It limits precipitation, preventing snow from extending further north. Temperatures in the afternoon are expected to rise slightly into the mid to high 30s, which would reduce snowfall accumulation. Even at 33 to 34 degrees Fahrenheit, snow may still fall and accumulate on grassy areas, but at 35 degrees Fahrenheit and above, it will mostly melt or transition to rain. After sunset, temperatures will drop and any residual moisture could freeze, creating hazardous conditions. The latest Euromodel update supports the trend of decreasing precipitation and less robust snowfall. It shows some snow and freezing rain continuing into Tuesday afternoon, but the overall storm intensity is lighter than earlier projections. The GFS model, which has been trending lighter snowfall for a while, aligns with this outcome. Dry air in the atmosphere means less available moisture for snowfall. As a result, areas that were expecting significant snow may only see an inch or two at best, with much of the precipitation transitioning to a wintry mix. Looking ahead, there's a small chance of isolated higher snow totals in localized areas, possibly reaching 7 to 9 inches. However, this will be highly localized and not widespread. So, Mel, while this storm may not deliver the massive snow totals originally expected, it's still a unique event for the South. Remember the hot, humid days of summer and take this opportunity to enjoy the snow. Dress warmly and be safe. In areas like Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, where the dry air and slight afternoon warm up may limit snow, it's still worth stepping outside to appreciate this winter weather while it lasts. As the system progresses, snowfall is tapering off in some areas, transitioning into a mix of freezing rain and sleet. Whatever comes down overnight will freeze due to the dropping temperatures, turning into ice by the next morning. One important thing to note, beyond the next 4 days, the GFS model indicates the possibility of more freezing rain, particularly across the Carolinas. The national blend of models also suggests lighter snow accumulation in some areas, but picks up again from North Carolina through Virginia. This aligns with what the GFS is hinting at, a potential battle between cold air and precipitation, resulting in either snow or freezing rain in North Carolina. Looking at the national blend of models, most areas can expect an average of 2 to 5 inches of snow, which is still a significant storm for many regions. The system moves through Mississippi and Alabama, but it weakens as it reaches Georgia and the Carolinas. Whether it intensifies again in North Carolina and Virginia remains to be seen as more data becomes available. What concerns me most is the freezing rain. Even small amounts can create dangerous conditions, especially when combined with snow that later melts and refreezes overnight, forming black ice. Roads will become hazardous and walking could be treacherous. For reference, here's the latest forecast from the Weather Prediction Center. The lighter blue areas indicate a chance of snow, while darker shades show a higher likelihood. Purple indicates mixed precipitation, and orange represents ice. Darker shades of each color indicate higher probabilities. Late Monday, rain transitions into snow and freezing rain. Areas like Houston will see a divide. Some areas will experience snow while others get freezing rain. In places like Beaumont, freezing rain may come first, followed by light snow. Central Louisiana will see a mix of snow and ice, while southern Arkansas has a chance of snow, but is less likely to see significant accumulation. By Tuesday evening, snow is likely in parts of central Georgia, South Carolina, and some areas of North Carolina. Dry air will limit precipitation in some regions, but freezing rain and a mix will still impact many areas, reducing snow totals. As the storm progresses, we might see snowfall decrease in Georgia and the Carolinas while potentially intensifying further north. Remember, any snow that melts during the day will refreeze at night, creating black ice. This is particularly dangerous for driving and walking. For example, areas near Austin could see a mix of freezing rain and sleet early in the morning, transitioning to snow by noon as the system moves east toward Houston, Beaumont, and Lafayette. Accumulations may vary, but ice will likely create problems throughout the region. Here's a quick look at specific areas. Austin, chance for an inch of snow and some freezing rain. Houston, up to 2 inches of snow possible with heavier totals further north. Beaumont, potential for 2 to 4 inches of snow. Lafayette, around 3 inches of snow. New Orleans, up to an inch in some areas, but warmer temperatures near Lake Pontchartrain may limit totals. Mobile, Alabama, likely to see some mix with a chance for up to an inch of snow. The ice threat is significant, especially near Lake City, Florida, where freezing rain could accumulate to 2.4 millimeters. Areas like Valdosta and Tallahassee may see limited ice, but Lake City is a hot spot to watch. Black ice will be a major concern for I-75 and I-10 corridors. Looking ahead, we'll need more model data to predict exact totals and timing. For now, HRR models indicate the storm will shift eastward by late Tuesday, bringing snow to South Carolina, North Carolina, and parts of Virginia. Stay tuned for updates as the models get refined. Finally, I want to leave you with a special message from Psalm 139, verse 1 to 10. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You understand my thoughts from afar. You scrutinize my path and my lying down, and are intimately acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it all. You have enclosed me behind and before and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is too high. I cannot attain to it. Where can I go from your spirit, or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, behold, you are there. If I take the wings of the dawn, if I dwell in the remotest part of the sea, even there your hand will lead me, and your right hand will lay hold of me. In today's video, we'll dive into the upcoming weather pattern, focusing on the extreme cold air expected to arrive tomorrow and last through late next week. This will bring an extended period of frigid temperatures, along with some rare snowfall for deep south locations, such as Texas, Louisiana, and potentially Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. There's some uncertainty about whether South Carolina, North Carolina, and portions of Virginia might also see snow. Over the past 24 hours, we've observed a southern shift in the storm's trajectory that we'll discuss today. Event nears. Let's dive in. First, we'll look at the 6 to 10 day outlook covering January 25th to 29th. For the first time in about a month, the outlook for most of the eastern U.S. shows near normal temperatures instead of below normal. While the West is still in the blue, indicating below normal temperatures, this pattern could encourage warmer conditions in the East during this time frame. However, January is almost certain to end as a below average month for temperatures across 90% of the East due to the significant cold experienced so far. Between now and the 25th, we expect continued cold, though the final 5 or 6 days of the month might trend warmer. It'll likely be a pattern of warming up, cooling down, and repeating. Looking at precipitation, we ironically see an upswing in areas that have struggled to get much of anything while it's cold. I understand the frustration. Trust me, I've missed out on snow more than anyone lately, or at least that's how it feels. Missing snowstorms to the north and now possibly to the south feels like a cruel joke. Weather doesn't always cooperate, and it's often down to pure luck or coincidence. Despite the frustration, that's part of what makes weather so fascinating. For the East, precipitation is expected to be above normal, as well as across the Four Corners region, parts of the plains and the Rockies. Conversely, the Northwest and some areas in the Midwest and Northern Plains may see below normal precipitation. Now, looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, January 27th to February 2nd, the West will remain cooler, and the Northeast quarter might see some cooler conditions as well. Meanwhile, the Southeast could see warmer than normal temperatures. Precipitation during this period is again expected to be above normal in the East. Unfortunately, the timing hasn't worked out to align cold air with precipitation for snow in many areas over the past 2 weeks. However, some snow is falling today in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, parts of Maryland, Delaware, New York, and southern New England. I saw highlights of the Philadelphia playoff game, which was a total snow game, a win for those in the area. I know snow has been elusive for places like Philadelphia, New Jersey, and New York City recently, so it's great to see those regions finally getting some. Over the past 15 days, January 4th through 19th, below normal temperatures have dominated the central and eastern U.S. Tomorrow, we'll expand this analysis to the first 20 days of January, but the overall picture remains one of a very cold month. Switching gears to the European model, this model is currently the most favorable for snowfall in places like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and perhaps eastern or southeastern Virginia. However, the forecast has shifted significantly since yesterday, with a notable southward trend over the past few days. For areas hoping for a plowable snow event, the model would need a substantial reversal toward a more northerly trajectory. Even so, it appears that flakes will fly for many, though the event might not match earlier expectations based on previous model guidance. We'll examine the upcoming snowfall event as well as the extremely cold temperatures expected for Monday into Tuesday, and especially Tuesday into Wednesday. A low pressure system is forming over the western Gulf, bringing snowfall to parts of Texas and Louisiana. While the western side of this system has been less affected, snowfall is still expected for Mississippi, Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, Georgia, South Carolina, especially coastal areas, and North Carolina, also primarily coastal areas. However, this system will move quickly and is not expected to produce as much heavy snow as initially forecast. As the storm moves out overnight, we'll be left with extremely cold temperatures through Wednesday and even into Thursday. Beyond that, we've been monitoring the potential for another low pressure system to develop off the southeast coast. Unlike the current system, which is wrapping up within the next 72 hours, this new potential system is still 4 to 5 days away from forming. Because of this, there's still time for the forecast to change, either improving or deteriorating. Recent model guidance shows a slightly juicier setup, but it remains uncertain. Currently, mixed precipitation is possible for eastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia before the system moves out. Coastal storms often bring what's known as a warm nose, where warm air pushes into coastal areas, limiting snowfall potential. Later model runs may offer more optimistic scenarios, but for now, the outlook is uncertain. And guys, I'm Katwil. Subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to stay informed. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you tomorrow.